So welcome everybody to this evening's conference with Le Cercle des Langues. We are going to be looking at past tense of horror. So as we know, tonight is Halloween. So they have created a theme around this evening. But we will be looking at the past tense. This evening's conference is level B1 to B2. For the next 25 minutes, I will present the conference. And for the last 5 minutes, we will have an answer and question section if you would like to ask anything or make any comments. So let's begin. This evening's conference will have 4 parts. So we will look at an introduction to horror and past tense. The second being the simple past. Dark tales and terrifying events. The third, we will look at the past continuous, and it will be themed when the nightmare begins. And for the fourth part, the present perfect, when the past still haunts the present. So let's look at an introduction. The spirit of Halloween grammar. Halloween is a celebration of fear, fantasy, and forgotten stories. And every one of them belongs to the past. To tell these tales, we need the language of time. And the language of time is the past tenses. They allow us to say what happened, what was happening, and what had already happened before it was too late. So what are these 3 shadows of the past? First one is the simple past. These are actions that are finished and complete. Okay, for example, the ghost appeared and disappeared again. The second shadow of the past would be the past continuous. So in this tense, we talk about background actions and atmosphere. When you think about the past continuous, I would like you to think about an action that was continuing at a particular moment in the past. For example, the wind was howling while the candles flickered. And for the third, we will look at the present perfect. The present perfect helps us speak about past events that have a connection to the present. For example, have you seen her Halloween costume? So let's look at a little bit of vocabulary. We talk about ghosts, witches, fog, candle, shadow, blood, spell, a mirror, a scream, a graveyard, wind, and darkness. So we might see some of these examples mentioned in the slides to come. Key verbs that you might see as well are verbs like haunt, whisper, vanish, scream, tremble, chase, appear, knock, bleed, and rise. Some of the time indicators that you could see in the slides will talk about yesterday, last night, 2 days ago, while, when, before, after, by the time, already, or until. Now you know the purpose of every tense and have enough vocabulary to start developing your storytelling skills. Let's keep breaking this down together. So now we're going to look at each tense in its context. So the simple past. So let's look at a short intro dialogue. Victor asks, "Did you hear that sound, Emilia?" Emilia responds nervously, "It came from the corridor, I think." Victor, the lights flickered for a moment. "Maybe it's the storm." Emilia says, "Or maybe it's her, the woman who never left this house." Victor says, "Don't start. You know I don't believe in." A whisper interrupts. The door creaks. "Ghosts? You still don't?" So in that example, you can see that we used the simple past. Because we use the simple past to talk about completed actions in the past. It's the tense of scenes, actions, and outcomes. And they are perfect for shocking moments. Remember that with the past simple, when you have regular verbs, all you have to do is take the base of the verb and add ed. For example, jumped, opened, walked, moved. And for irregular verbs, they change their form completely. So for example, when you want to use the verb go in the present, it will become went in the past. See in the present becomes saw in the past. Run in the present becomes ran in the past. So let's look at a short story and how it incorporates the past simple. Last Halloween, Emma and Jake visited an abandoned house. The air smelled of dust and something strange. They heard footsteps upstairs, but nobody was there. When Emma looked into the mirror, she saw her reflection smiling, but she wasn't smiling at all. They ran down the stairs and never returned. So here you can see by the time indicators, last Halloween shows us that the event is finished. So therefore, I will use the past simple. So let's do a little exercise together. Please put your responses into the chat. Put the verbs into the simple past tense. The candles burn until midnight. What is the past simple for burn? If you would like to, you can put your answers into the chat so we can share them. The candles burn until midnight. Is it regular or is it irregular? Wonderful. So it's burned. We hear a whisper in the dark. What is it? We hear. Is it regular or is it irregular? Wonderful. It is. We heard. The ghost appear near the window. Beautiful. The ghost appeared near the window. I scream and drop the key. Wonderful. Let's look at the responses. As you all had it, the candles burned until midnight. We heard a whisper in the dark. The ghost appeared near the window. I screamed and dropped the key. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for participating. So let's look at a dialogue example. What happened when you entered the house? We walked through the hall. Everything was silent. Did you see anything unusual? Yes, The mirrors reflected someone who wasn't there. Are you sure it wasn't your imagination? I swear I heard a woman laugh behind me. And what did you do? I ran and I screamed, Amelia. I screamed until my voice broke. So now that we see the past simple, which are for, the past simple is for moments that are finished in the past, we move on to the past continuous, when the nightmare began. We use the past continuous to describe actions in progress at a specific time. You also use the past continuous to describe scenes or interrupted actions. Your form will be your subject plus was or were and your verb ing. Let's look at some examples. I was reading when the lights went out. So I use the past simple here because the past simple helps me with my short action. They were walking through the fog when they heard the cry. So let's take a look at this short story, The Whisper in the Woods. It was raining all night. I was walking through the forest when my flashlight died. The trees were swaying and something was moving behind them. I was trying to find my way back when I heard someone whisper, "Go back." I turned, but there was only fog. So using the past continuous helps us create suspense. And we start with the atmosphere using was or were in ing, and we interrupt it with a sudden simple past event. For example, I was lighting the candles when the door slammed shut. So this is how the past continuous and the past simple work together to create an interesting scene. So let's look at the dialogue example. What were you doing when you heard the voice? I was collecting herbs near the old bridge. And then the wind was blowing and I was hearing my name. Are you sure it wasn't an echo? No, the voice was whispering right next to my ear. What did it say? It's not over yet. Then everything went silent. So now we have looked at the past simple, the past continuous, and the last one is the present perfect, when the past still haunts the present. The present perfect describes actions that started in the past, but still affect the present. It's the tense of memories that refuse to fade. So what is the formula for this tense? We take the subject plus have and has as your auxiliary, and we add the past participle. So if you are looking at the group of verbs in English, the first group will be your base, the second group will be your past tense verb, or en français on dit le prétérit, and in your third group you will have the past participle, le participe passé. So let's look at examples. It says the witch has returned. I have heard strange whispers tonight. They have never escaped the forest. So the door has opened. Let's look at the example. It's midnight. The fog has thickened. I have walked these halls for hours, searching for the key. Someone has lit the candles, but I'm alone. The door has creaked many times, slowly, terribly, and I've just realized that the house is awake again. So in an example dialogue, we see, how long have you lived here? Amelia, I have lived here since I was a child. Then you have heard them too, haven't you? Yes, the voices have whispered my name for years. And you have never left? The house has never let me go. So let's just quickly reflect on the present perfect. Because the present perfect can sometimes be challenging to think about it, how we use it. So imagine two examples. The present perfect is used when something began in the past and it still has its importance now. For example, I have been married for 6 years. It means my marriage started in the past and it still continues. But if I say I was married 6 years ago, it means my marriage has ended. Okay? And that is an important difference. We use the past, simple past for events that are finished. We use the past continuous for mood, so to create the ambience. And we use the present perfect for mystery and a backstory. Mixed sensory verbs such as heard, saw, felt, smelled, touched. We often add descriptive adjectives for atmosphere. And oftentimes when we are talking about a story, we sometimes end with ambiguity. The unknown is the most terrifying thing of all. So in conclusion, the past simple captured the very heartbeat of the moment fear was born, while the past continuous revealed its haunting rhythm through time. Then the present perfect whispered that its echo still lingers, alive within us today. Each tense opens up a doorway through time, reminding us that language, like memory, never sleeps. So thank you for joining me for this conference with Le Cercle des Langues. I know that it was connected to Halloween. However, the principles and the usage of each tense are still the same. That means the past simple will be used for an event that is finished. The past continuous can describe what we were doing at a particular moment in the past, and the present perfect shows us an event that began in the past and is important in the present. Do you have any questions, or would you like to make